I went to the place that had been mentioned in the journal, and I regret even going. The journal felt foolish. The entries seemed to be fake, and that's partly the reason why I'd went there. Boy, was that a mistake. When I found the place, I parked the car and stepped out and took in my surroundings. It looked like an abandoned mental asylum, but what strikes me odd about its location is that it's on a long stretch of dirt road. A mental asylum on an old dirt road. On top of the asylum was a big piece of wood with Devil's Den written on it in what looked to be red paint. You've got to be kidding me, I muttered to myself, looking at the sign. Maybe, just maybe, this was a prank. But little did I know that I was about to stumble into the worst situation I've ever been in. I walked closer to the building. It was made out of brick, and there were a few bricks missing from some places of the building, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to maybe disprove that faded blue journal. But if it turned out to be legit, maybe the horror junkie in me can be satisfied with some real terror. Once I got to the asylum doors, I was surprised to find out that they were unlocked. I don't really know if most abandoned buildings are locked or not, but I didn't want to waste any time thinking about nonsense like that. I took a deep breath and opened the doors and walked in. As soon as I was in, the doors slammed closed behind me. It happened so fast that when I turned to try to open them, they were locked. I slammed my body into the heavy doors, but to my dismay, they wouldn't budge an inch. I sighed and turned back around, pulling out my phone to turn on the flashlight because it was so dark in there. The dim light from my phone lit up what looked like it had once been the main lobby of Devil's Den Asylum. I shined the light all over the main lobby. The main desk was broken in half. There were red stains on the wall that I could only assume was blood. I immediately think of the sign that's hanging up outside the asylum. I thought it was red paint, but could it possibly be blood instead? Slam! A loud noise disrupted my train of thought, and I turned in the direction of where the sound came from. There was a hall with some type of light illuminating from it, which was odd just for the simple fact that when I stepped inside, it was completely dark in here. And I know I would have been able to see this light. I slowly made my way towards the hall. The closer I got, the more this unbelievable feeling of dread crept. It crept up my spine, giving me shivers. Me, being the horror junkie that I am, this shouldn't have bothered me, but it sure did give me an uneasy feeling. I was there in the hall. The light wasn't too bright, and it seemed to be flickering. If this isn't a horror movie vibe, then I don't know what is, I said, shaking my head as I continued walking down the hall. Once I got to the end, I heard another slamming noise, but this time it came from behind me. I turned around slowly to look behind me, and what I saw gave me the chills. It was him. Or should I say, it. It was the pigman. The pig face full of life, working eyes, working snout. I ran the opposite direction after its shrill oinking noises, and I knew it was chasing after me, the shrill oinks getting closer and closer each passing moment. I saw an open door at the end of the hallway, and I headed straight for it. Once I was through, I slammed it shut and barricaded the door. The pigman was incredibly fast because as soon as the door was barricaded, it slammed its entire body against it from the opposite side. I was scared, terrified that I may not be able to escape from this hellish creature who kept ramming its large body into the door, making the bookcase shake. I backed up and sat on the ground in the semi-dark room, tears welling up in my eyes as I sat there listening to the beast on the other side trying to get in. After what felt like hours, the banging stopped. I was able to calm my breathing so I could listen to what may happen next. Minutes passed. Nothing. No shrill oinks. No slamming. No nothing. I stood up and carefully made my way back to the door, trying to be as quiet as possible. I moved the bookcase and lowered myself to look underneath the crack of the door to see if it was still around. Nothing was there. I stood up and opened the door to get out of this hellish nightmare. I stepped back into the hallway, and as soon as I did, it grabbed me. The shrill screeching noises started back up, this time loud and clear in my ears. My air was cut off. My air was cut off as it was choking me. Everything around me was starting to get blurry, but before everything went black, I saw an image in my head of a man who I've never seen before. I saw an image in my head of a man whom I've never seen before. He held a knife and was walking towards me. And just like that, I was out. When I finally came to, I was lying on the ground outside the asylum, but it was pitch black out. I stood up checking for my phone, but it was nowhere to be found. I quickly ran back to where my car was parked, and luckily it was still there. I got in, started the car, and sped all the way home so I could type all this shit up. I feel like this is all far from over. I say that because when I got home, as I was running up the steps, I heard what sounded like an ominous oinking sound. And believe me or not, but I'm totally done being a horror junkie. I'm selling all my shit. That's my experience with Devil's Den, and I don't ever want to go back there. This is Seth Hayes signing off. I'll keep you all updated if anything else happens.